The Giver is a 1993 American children's novel by Lois Lowry. It is set in a society which is at first presented as a utopian society and gradually appears more and more dystopian. The novel follows a boy named Jonas through the 12th year of his life. The society has eliminated pain and strife by converting to sameness, a plan that has also eradicated emotional depth from their lives. Jonas is selected to inherit the position of receiver of memory, the person who stores all the past memories of the time before sameness, in case they are ever needed to aid in decisions that others lack the experience to make. When Jonas meets the previous receiver the Giver he is confused in many ways. Additionally, the Giver is able to break some rules, such as turning off the speaker which listens to people's conversations in their homes, and lying to people of the community. As Jonas receives the memories from the Giver, he discovers the power of knowledge. The people in his community are happy because they do not know of a better life. They have been shielded from pain, sorrow, sickness, disease, hunger etc., but in doing so they have also lost out on many of the things that give life depth and meaning like sunshine, love, color, and music. Thus, Jonas and the Giver face a dilemma. Should they offer the community a life full of love, variety, knowledge, and choice if it means losing the comforting safety inherent in their current life of innocence and order? Together they hatch a plan to share the full spectrum of what life has to offer with the whole community, a decision that will have immediate drastic consequences on everyone, but especially on Jonas himself. The Giver won the 1994 Newbery Medal and has sold more than 10 million copies. In Australia, Canada, and the United States, it is a part of many middle school reading lists, but it is also on many challenged book lists and appeared on the American Library Association's list of most challenged books of the 1990s. The novel forms a loose quartet with three other books set in the same future era, Gathering Blue, Messenger, and Sun. Plot: Jonas, who is 11 years old, is apprehensive about the upcoming ceremony where he will be assigned his job. In his society little or no privacy is allowed. Even private houses have two-way intercoms which can be used to listen in for infractions of the rules. However, the rules appear to be readily accepted by all, including Jonas. So it is without real protest that he initially accepts his selection as the receiver of memories, a job he is told will be filled with pain and the training for which will isolate him from his family and friends forever. Yet, under the guidance of the present receiver, a surprisingly kind man who has the same rare, pale eyes as Jonas, the boy absorbs memories that induce for the first time feelings of true happiness and love. Also, for the first time, Jonas knows what it is to see colors, to feel sunshine or see a rainbow, and to experience snow and the thrill of riding a sled down a hill. But then he is given the painful memories: war, pain, death, loneliness, and starvation. These are memories of the community's deep past. Jonas learns that the community engineered a society of sameness to protect its people against this past, yet he begins to understand the tremendous loss he and his people have endured by giving their memories away, embracing sameness, and using climate control. In his community, which is under extreme control, there is no suffering, hunger, war, and, as also, no color, music, or love. Everything is controlled by the elders, who are looked upon in a very positive light, though they control whom you will marry, whom you receive as children, and what you will be assigned as a job. Jonas aches with this newfound wisdom and his desire for a life elsewhere blossoms. But the final blow for Jonas comes when he asks the receiver what release is. The Giver says that he could show him, and allows Jonas to watch a present-day tape of his own father, a seemingly kind and loving man, releasing a baby twin by giving him a lethal injection. Like any other aberration from sameness, identical twins are against the rules, so the smaller of the two is dispatched like garbage, without the one who conducted the release understanding the true meaning of the action. Together, Jonas and the Giver come to the understanding that the time for change is now, that the community has lost its way and must have its memories returned. The only way to make this happen is if Jonas leaves the community, at which time the memories he has been given will flood back into the people. Jonas wants the Giver to escape with him, but the Giver insists that he will be needed to help the people manage the memories, or they will destroy themselves. The giver also wants to remain behind so that when his work is done, he can be with a child, Rosemary, a girl with pale eyes who 10 years earlier had failed in her training to become the new receiver of memories and who had asked to be released. The giver devises a plot in which Jonas will escape to elsewhere, an unknown land that exists beyond the boundaries of the communities. The giver will make it appear as if Jonas drowned in the river so that the search for him will be limited. In the meantime, the giver will give Jonas memories of strength and courage to sustain him and save up his meals as Jonas's food and water supply for his journey. Their plan is changed when Jonas learns that Gabriel, the baby staying with his family unit, will be released the following morning. Jonas has become attached to the baby, who also has unusual pale eyes, and feels he has no choice but to escape with the infant. Without the memories of strength and courage promised by the giver, Jonas steals his father's bike and leaves with Gabriel to find the elsewhere. Their escape ride is fraught with dangers, and the two are near death from cold and starvation when they reach the border of what Jonas believes must be elsewhere. Using his ability to see beyond, a gift that he does not quite understand, he finds a sled waiting for him at the top of a snowy hill. He and Gabriel ride the sled down towards a house filled with colored lights and warmth and love and a Christmas tree, and for the first time he hears something he knows must be music. The ending is ambiguous, with Jonas depicted as experiencing symptoms of hypothermia. This leaves his and Gabriel's future unresolved. However, their fate is revealed in Messenger, a companion novel written much later. In 2009 at the National Book Festival, the author Lois Lowry joked during a Q&A, "Jonas is alive, by the way. You don't need to ask that question." Literary significance and criticism. The critical reception of Lowry's work has been polarized. The Giver has become something of a canonical work among educators who believe that young adult audiences respond best to contemporary literature. These teachers postulate that teenagers need a separate body of literature written to speak directly to the adolescent experience, and plots that revolve around realistic, contemporary topics. According to this view, a classics-only curriculum can stunt a developing reader's appetite for reading, though some teachers argue the opposite viewpoint, and press to keep older works on the reading lists. Lowry's novel has also found a home in City Reads programs, library-sponsored reading clubs on citywide or larger scales. Waukesha County, Dane County and Milwaukee County, Wisconsin chose to read The Giver, for example, as did Middletown, Connecticut. Bloomington, Illinois. Valparaiso, Indiana. Rochester, Minnesota. Central Valley, New York. Center County, Pennsylvania. Montgomery County, Maryland and others. Some adult reviewers writing for adults have commented that the story is not likely to stand up to the sort of probing literary criticism used in serious circles. Karen Ray, writing in the New York Times, detects occasional logical lapses, but adds that the book is sure to keep older children reading. Young adult fiction author Deborah Doyle was more critical, stating that personal taste aside, The Giver fails the plausibility test, and that things are the way they are because the author is making a point. Things work out the way they do because the author's point requires it. Natalie Babbitt of The Washington Post was more forgiving, calling Lowry's work a warning in narrative form, saying, "The story has been told before in a variety of forms. Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 comes to mind but not, to my knowledge, for children. It's well worth telling, especially by a writer of Lowry's great skill. If it is exceedingly fragile if, in other words, some situations do not survive that well-known suspension of disbelief well, so be it. The Giver has things to say that cannot be said too often, and I hope there will be many, many young people who will be willing to listen." Awards, nominations, and recognition. Lowry won many awards for her work on The Giver, including the following: the 1994 Newbery Medal. The John Newbery Award is given by the Association for Library Service to Children. The award is given for the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children. The 1994 Regina Medal, the 1996 William Allen White Award, American Library Association listings for Best Book for Young Adults, ALA Notable Children's Book, and 100 Most Frequently Challenged Books of 1990 2000. A Boston Globe Hornbook on a Book, Book List Editor's Choice, a School Library Journal Best Book of the Year. A 2004 study found that it was a common read-aloud book for sixth graders in schools in San Diego County, California. Based on a 2007 online poll, the National Education Association named the book one of its teachers' top 100 books for children. It was one of the top 100 chapter books of all time in a 2012 poll by School Library Journal. Adaptations: Oregon Children's Theatre premiered a stage adaptation of The Giver by Eric Coble in March 2006. Subsequent productions of Coble's one-hour script have been presented several American theaters. In the fall of 1994, actor Bill Cosby and his ASIS Productions film company established an agreement with Lancet Media Productions to adapt The Giver to film. In the years following, members of the partnership changed and the production team grew in size, but little motion was seen toward making the film. At one point, screenwriter Ed Numria was signed to create the screenplay. Later, Numria was replaced by Todd Alcott and Walden Media became the central production company. Diana Basmajian adapted the novel to full-length play format, and Prime Stage Theatre produced in 2006. Actor Ron Rifkin reads the text for the audiobook edition. A PC computer game based on the novel was planned by edutainment software company Broderbund in 1995, however it was plagued by delays. Eventually the game was scrapped following the company's sale to the Learning Company. However, some audio clips of the game have made their way into other media. The Lyric Opera of Kansas City and the Minnesota Opera co-commissioned and staged a new opera based on the novel in January 2012. It was presented in Minneapolis on 27 April 29, 2012, and was weekcast live on May 18, 2012. Film. A film is being adapted which was given the green light in December 2012. Jeff Bridges is set to play The Giver and Brenton Thwaites will play Jonas. Meryl Streep, Katie Holmes, Alexander Skarsgård, and Taylor Swift will also appear in the film. It is scheduled for release in North America on August 15, 2014. References. External links: Lois Lowry's Newbery Acceptance Speech, The Giver Study Guide, Themes, Quotes, Teacher Resources.